Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today as we continue our series of virtual town halls brought to you by University Advancement. Our town halls aim to share information and updates directly from university leadership with you, some of Miami's most loyal and dedicated supporters and alumni. Today, I'm pleased to welcome Ande Durojaiye. Ande is the new Vice President and Dean of Miami University Regionals and the College of Liberal Arts and Applied Science. Prior to arriving at Miami in July of 2021, Ande was the interim provost and executive vice president for academic affairs at Northern Kentucky University. Previously, he served 3 years as vice provost for undergraduate academic affairs at NKU. He also has held leadership roles at Michigan State University, Florida Atlantic University, and the U.S. Department of Education. A native of Atlanta, he earned a doctorate of education from Vanderbilt University's Peabody College and a JD from Georgetown University Law Center. He is also a graduate of Harvard University's Institute for Educational Management. Ande, it's great to have you with us today. Thank you so much for making the time to be with us during this virtual town hall.
Oh, thank you, Brad. And I really appreciate you having me. And I look forward to talking and talking more about the great things that are happening.
Great. Well, thanks to everybody who sent in questions also. There are some clear themes that have emerged. So we're going to address the topics that seem top of mind to all of you. So we'll get started right away, Ande. First of all, what drew you to Miami Regionals?
For me, Brad, it was a couple of things. I think the first thing was the community. When you start thinking about the actual physical communities that we serve, I was really excited about the opportunity to serve the Butler County region, understanding the amazing growth and the amazing potential that exists here. That was a big driver for me. The other areas that was really important to me was the mission, understanding and recognizing the mission of the regional campuses and the work that we do, who we seek to serve, understanding that we prioritize all students. And so that aligned with my life mission and my life's work. And so I knew that was a place that would be a great fit. And then thirdly, it's Miami's academic excellence, knowing that we are at a world-class institution with world-class faculty, with world-class resources, and knowing that I could be part of that community of learners, but that community of scholars, that community of educators, and really try to move forward, not only for Miami University, but for the region. It was a no-brainer for me. So, those were the big areas that drew me here to Miami. And thus far, I've been pleasantly surprised with what I've seen thus far.
That's great. Well, we can already see the impact that you're having on all of our campuses in the regional system for sure. Ande, what's your vision for the regional campuses?
My vision is threefold when I think about the regional campuses and where I wanted to go. When I first got here, President Crawford, he talked to me one-on-one about his vision for One Miami. And so, for me, whenever someone has a big overarching, attainable, but very, very, very innovative and forward-thinking vision, I can attract to that and I can catch on with that easily. And so, when I think about what I want us to do first, the first thing I want us to be leaders in access to quality higher education. One of the things that we deal with in higher education, that's a consistent theme, is the fact that many folks think we're too expensive, we're out of touch, we're not aligned, and we're not preparing and supporting the students that need us most. And so I want to reverse that narrative. I want to make sure at the regionals that we are in touch with our communities. We are ensuring that individuals, regardless of background, whether that be first generation status, whether that be low income, whether that be underrepresented minority, you can come, you can get a Miami quality education, and you can use that Miami quality education to benefit from all the things we know that benefit from a higher education degree and the opportunities that flow from it. Secondly, I'd like us to be leaders in how we think about completion within higher education. One of the things that we think about is there's a lot of students, not only within our region, but within our state, that have started, that have attempted, that haven't finished. And so one of the things I want us to be focused on and I want us to prioritize is how can we help reverse that narrative? How can we make sure that regardless of who you are and what you're looking to do, whether that be a degree, whether that be a micro-credential, whether that be just training to help you in your current position, we can offer you that. And so you can come to us, you can get what you need, you can complete, and you can go on about and do what you need to do. Thirdly, I'd like to see us be a national model for what it means to be engaged with our communities. Part of our regional mission is looking inwardly at our communities and make sure we're serving our communities best. And so one of the things that I've tried to challenge the people that I'm working with do is say, how do our communities view us? What are our communities' needs from us? And then what are we doing to serve those community needs? And so I want to make sure that we're being strategic and laser focused on ensuring that our communities are our top and number one priority of who we're serving. And when we think community, another thing, Brad, that's important to me is having a very, very expansive view of community. Looking at not only the Hamilton, the Middletown, the Voice of America area that we physically are located in, but looking at the broader Butler County community, looking at the greater Cincinnati area. Because when you think about higher education, when you think about educational attainment, there is still a great need in our region, our community. We're growing rapidly and great things are happening. We have world-class companies here, but we still have a huge segment of the population that's been left behind when we start thinking about higher education. And as a result, they've been left behind by the opportunities that flow from it. And so I'd like to see the regionals be the driver in that access, that completion, that career, and that community engagement. And then lastly, but probably most importantly, I see the regionals as the driver for upward social and economic mobility within our region. When you think about it, and the information is out there, it's pretty clear. Individuals who go to college, who get a degree, earn more money, they do better, they live longer, they have better health outcomes. And so if we know that, and that information is out there, that as a higher education institution, I think it's incumbent upon us to make sure that we can provide that opportunity for more. And I'd like us to more so be known for not who we exclude, but who we include. Imagine if in 10 years we could say, regardless of where you've come from, regardless of who you are, regardless of your background, you can have a Miami degree and you can get all the benefits of a Miami degree. And so it makes the job that you're doing, going out, doing advancement, engagement with alumni, so much easier because we can show, hey, listen, Miami is not just for a select few of individuals. Miami is for everyone. And we show that when individuals engage with Miami, they work hard, they benefited from it greatly. And so that's what I would like to see for the regionals.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's great. As you and I have talked, and I just recently moved to Butler County after many, many years down in Hamilton County. And for those that are on this call that may not have visited the region in a while, I will tell you that Butler County is certainly one of the fastest growing counties and one of the fastest growing areas of all of Southwest Ohio. And to know that Miami has a commitment to the region, especially from a higher educational perspective, is so critical to the future of this region. So that's great to hear about that. And speaking of vision, I'll tell you the other thing that I'm really excited about, Andy, if you could tell us more about, and that's your early college academy program.
Definitely, and I'm equally as excited. So our early college academy was an idea with myself and some of our associate deans, Lisa Scriveska, who worked very closely on it with me and continues to lead that effort. And so, going back to the original conversation we were having, the question I asked is, what does our community need? And so we started to do a really deep dive into our communities. We looked at Hamilton, we looked at Middletown, and we said, right now in communities where we have physical locations, the actual college attainment rate is 15% or less in both communities. And so for me, that let us know there was a gap in what we were doing and meeting the community need. And so what we tried to think about is, what is a strategic way or a way we can utilize the resources that currently exists to support increasing those numbers. And so in the state of Ohio, we have our College Credit Plus program, CCP. And this is a program where students can take college credit courses, get credit, and then use that as they matriculate to college. And so one of the things that's exciting and the information and research shows that students who take advantage of dual credit or college credit courses while in high school, one, are more likely to attend college, but two, are more likely to graduate from college. And so if we know that we've got this information, we know we got this data, we know that it in fact works, why wouldn't we take it to the communities that were closest to us? And so I got a chance to connect with Superintendent Mike Holbrook over at Hamilton City Schools and Superintendent Marlon Stiles over in the Middletown City Schools. And I said, hey, this is something we'd love to do this. And the exciting thing about it, and this is the exciting thing, what I love about the region and the communities we serve, only answer I got was, this is great, and how do we do it, and how soon can we get it started? And that lets me know we have willing and really engaged partners within our community. And so as part of the program, the way we've designed it is that students from those two high schools will come to our regional campuses, and they will take courses for their junior and senior years of high school. And what they will do is, those courses that are taking, that'll be in 8 different focus areas, will align with their high school graduation requirements. So ideally, when a student walks across the stage in high school, they will graduate from high school and have their high school diploma, but they'll also have earned an associate's degree at Miami University. And the other impactful thing about this is these students will earn this associate's degree at Miami at no cost. So Brad, when you start thinking about it for their future, when we start talking about what they want to do next, students can finish their Miami degree for only 2 more additional years. And so those students can stay at our regional campuses, or the students can matriculate on our Oxford campus. But you just think about the doors that we've opened for them. When you start talking about affordability, and we've now cut off half the price of college for a potential low-income student, for a first-generation student, for an underrepresented minority students. That's amazing. And so, for us, we thought, what could have the most transformational impact on our communities? And so we surely believe that if we think about this opportunity, we think about what flows from this opportunity, we think about what it does for these students, we're giving them a leg up that many have not had previously. And, it goes back to the core mission of what we're doing at the regionals. Those are the things that we say, hey, you came to us, you came from a first generation family. Maybe your parents didn't go to college. Maybe you were lower income, but now you're in a place where if you graduate with this XYZ degree, you can go out into a job that's actually paying very, very well. And we know that's that transformational impact, not only on the individual, not only on their family, but then on the community as well. And so that was the exciting thing about Early College Academy. And we're excited to launch that this fall. And in that same vein, you talked about moving from Hamilton County to Butler County. One of the things that we want to do in subsequent school years is we want to expand it to more areas. One of the things that all the superintendents I meet with one-on-one talk about is, Andy, how can we get that opportunity within our district? And so that's exciting for us because we think of it as a tool to spread and spread the good work that's happening in Miami, but also give more opportunities to more students. Because, as we think about what industry and what the different companies that are moving here are looking for, it's that talented workforce. And it's that pipeline of saying we've got an educated workforce that can do what we need. And so we've got to make sure that no matter who you are as a student when you graduate high school, you have as many opportunities as possible. And so that's one of the big things that we want to do with the Early College Academy, and we're really excited about it.
That's great. Those that know me know that I often say that I have a firm belief that education is the panacea to the world's problems. Right? There is rarely anything that we face as a society that can't be achieved and accomplished, provided that we have education. And so this Early College Academy program, to me, speaks to a need within a population that historically has struggled to even find pathways or ways to get to college. So it's great that Miami's leading the charge in that area. So congratulations on that vision and that really incredible transformative way of approaching local community high schools as well. Speaking of transformative programs, I've seen some information about Miami's participation in the Moonshot for Equity EAB effort. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Definitely. And so, this aligns very much with what we've been talking about. So the Moonshot for Equity is a national initiative where EAB, the Educational Advisory Board, is engaging with regions of the country. And so, they're engaging with these regions with an idea of how do we eliminate equity gaps in higher education. So, what we were talking about with our Early College Academy, how do we ensure that regardless of your race, your income level, your first generation status, you can still be successful and matriculate and graduate. And so what the Moonshot aims to do is aims to look at that problem on a much more global level, or for our sake, a regional level. Oftentimes, and Miami's been a leader in this, the focus has been institutional. And so we've looked at the students who've actually come to our doors and said, hey, I'm interested in this. And then we try to serve them. But the Moonshot is saying, well, how about we look at our entire region and think about things, how we can do them much more holistically and how we can work together. One of the big challenges that we have in higher education is then when we have something that's going well, when we have something that's really moving the needle, when we think student success and we think access, we hold it really close to the chest like we don't want to share it with other individuals. And the Moonshot is trying to erase that thinking. We're saying, hey, if we've got great ideas, how do we share them? How do we scale them up? How do we make sure that more individuals have more opportunities? And so what we're doing with the Moonshot, 4 institutions here within this region, Miami, Northern Kentucky University, Cincinnati State Technical College, and Gateway Community and Technical College, are coming together, and we've created the Greater Cincinnati Northern Kentucky Moonshot region. And so right now we are working collectively and collaboratively on these issues of access, on these issues of equity, on these issues of educational attainment, and thinking through how we can do it. One of the things that President Crawford, who's a leader in this and was the real driver behind us doing this, he always talks about the fact that we do really, really good with certain populations. If you look at some of our underrepresented minority students on our Oxford campus, we have very, very high attainment rates and very high retention rates and very high graduation rates. And what I think the Moonshot helps us do is it helps us scale that up. How can we keep those high rates, keep those high numbers, but increase the numbers of students? Because that's one of the things I think that has the huge impact. Can we get more students of color? Can we get more first generation students? Can we get more low income students and continue with those high numbers and those high rates we have? And so I think Miami has the secret sauce there. And so for us, it's saying, how do we scale it up on our own campus, but also how do we help other campuses that are working with us do the same? Another big portion of our Moonshot effort, Brad, that we're really excited about is how we think about transfer and transfer students within this region. Between our 2-year college partners here within the greater Cincinnati region, at any one given time, we've got about 25,000 students who are at 2-year institutions. And when you talk to the leaders of those institutions, oftentimes they survey their students, and many of their students on the front end say, I have aspirations. I'd like to transfer and complete a 4-year degree. But when you actually look at the raw numbers, Brad, of students who actually transfer, the numbers are very, very low. And so as part of the Moonshot, one of the things that we're doing is saying, now what can we do to build stronger pipelines and stronger connections with our 2-year partners so that more students who are interested in that can do that? And, that takes a lot of work. Carolyn Haynes at Miami University is doing a great job of leading our efforts, and Karen's a known commodity around the state and transfer. But she's passionate about it, and we have a lot of people who are passionate about it now. And so the Moonshot gives us really an opportunity to just work and do what we've all been trying to do and what we've been passionate about for quite some time. And so that's really exciting. In a perfect world, and we know the world's not perfect, but we're trending towards that. It'd be great if we could say Miami was a leader in transfer. And when students are thinking about 2-year institutions and thinking where they want to end up, they think of Miami as a place they can go and they can be successful. And as we talked about, and they can also reap the benefits of a Miami degree. And so, again, for me and the Moonshot, we're thinking from a framework of rather who we exclude, but who we include, and how we can include more people in the great things that we know are Miami, our Miami traditions, and our Miami outcomes. And those folks help you do your job because they become part of our Miami alumni base. And so we can go in different places and show that, we've had impact across the world in a lot of different communities, and even right in our own backyard.
That's terrific. I was thinking about, I was thinking about, again, that the impact that Miami regionals have historically had within this area. And you're right, it spreads so far beyond, just this community. But speaking of this community, Miami Regionals has a 50-year history of preparing and educating healthcare workers, specifically nurses in the region. And when I think to the past 2 years and everything that we've gone through as a society, I think that what one of the outcomes has been the incredible shortage of healthcare workers that we have, and what the need is there. Can you talk a little bit about what's new with the nursing program and what's going on with that historically vibrant part of our student body?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of great things happening with nursing. First I'll start out the nursing department. Brooke Flinders, who's the chair of that department, is a phenomenal chair and has done an excellent job of helping to grow and continue to establish our well-renowned nursing program. The thing that's exciting about our nursing program is we are such a known commodity within our community. And so they've done great work. The hospitals know us. The other nurses know us. I can tell you, I just recently, me and my wife welcomed our 4th child, and we were giving birth. And I asked around the room, are any of you nurses graduates in Miami? And I actually had 2. And so that was a great opportunity for me to see the great work. And I actually felt a little bit more confident in what they were doing when they say we're Miami grads. So, that's also a plus as well. But the nursing program is doing great. This fall we are launching our MSN program, our Master's in Nursing, with tracks in nurse educator, nurse executive, and family nurse practitioner. And so we're so excited about that because this is the first time we've had a graduate program within the nursing department. And we know that there's a huge need within our region. We have so many nurses, but we have such a shortage of nurses. And so giving the opportunity for nurses to advance their career, but also learn more and have a greater impact, we think is a plus and a win-win for Miami, but also for the region. This past fall and in the spring, we opened our new renovated University Hall, which houses our nursing program, and it's a state-of-the-art facility. We've got technology that was donated to us, and the great fine work that was helped from our advancement folks have helped us really build a building that's amazing. And it's going to be a gym within our community. We're constantly doing tours, and people are constantly coming to see the great work and the great things that our nurses in training are going to get to work on. The most impactful tour that I've been on, and I have to tell you the story, is seeing some of our former faculty come back who've been with the nursing program 40 and 50 years ago, and to see how their eyes lit up, knowing that the hard work they did over the years has led us to this point, and recognizing that now with what we have in University Hall, we're going to be able to do more within the regional community. The other big thing that we're excited about, and I know you've probably talked about this multiple times, is our new health sciences building, where we can do more with our nursing program. We've grown our nursing program to Oxford as well, and that's an area that's in huge demand. And so our nursing department is doing a great job. We're really excited about them. We're excited about the future growth, and we're excited about them really being the drivers of this region for nurses and the nurses talent pipeline that we know is so sorely needed right now. So things are going really great. The other thing I would add is we're also looking to launch our Doctor of Nurse Practitioner in the fall of 2024. So the nursing program, we're launching a master's program this fall, and 2 years from that, a doctoral program. And again, we know the demand is out there. We know the need is there, and we have a world-class faculty who will help really serve those students who come into these programs.
That's great. Thank you. I know a lot of what you and I do, and a lot of our day-to-day jobs really require and rely on strong partnerships throughout the region as well. Can you talk a little bit about what your top priorities are regarding community partnerships?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's kind of threefold, and we've kind of talked about it. The first thing is how do we engage our partnerships to build educational pathways? And so one of the big things that I've done in my time is how have I gone out and had an opportunity to engage with our local educational leaders. I've met with all of the superintendents in the region. I've met with superintendents outside of the region, and the idea is to go in and say, what are your students looking for? How can we better serve your students? And what can we do to build pathways for your students to the regional campuses? The other big area that we're looking at as focus is how do we think from a industry partnership standpoint. I've had an opportunity to make some really strong inroads with our local chamber of commerce, and those are big things that are important. We have so many chambers across the Butler County, Hamilton County area, Warren County as well. And so what I would see myself as going out being an ambassador. Being able to engage with our chambers gives us an opportunity to engage with business. And so we can be responsive to what business is looking for, what business needs, and then make sure that we can tailor what we can offer to meet those needs as well. And then, thirdly, from a partnership standpoint, I want to be in the community. I view my role as not someone who's, working at Miami and has a tangential relation to the community, but I want to actually be engaged in the community. And so getting a chance to really engage with our community partners. Over in Hamilton, one of our faculty members, Shamina Curtis, has done a great job of building community connections within our community. And so she's been a great conduit for me of getting to know other folks. When I'm in Middletown and engaging with many individuals, Kathy Mulligan, who's a longtime faculty member on the regional campuses, she actually sits on the Middletown School Board. So somebody who has welcomed me with open arms and really connected me to the community of Middletown. And so for me, when I think about the partnerships, there's the strategic enrollment, strategic, industry partnerships. But I think the most important partnerships are those community members, that they know that, Ande is here to work with you. Ande wants to engage with you. Ande wants to be part of the community because, when we feel that the community sees us as engaged partners, they're willing to work with us more. Yesterday we walked over to Middletown High School, which is right across the street from our Middletown campus, and we got a chance to learn and get some demos on virtual reality for Middletown High School students. And those are the kind of engagement opportunities we want to have. We want to see what our community is doing and how we can be part of that as well. So those are the priorities as far as partnering and moving forward. I would be remiss if I also didn't mention our elected officials, working with Randy Thomas's group and Aspire. One of the biggest surprises, but the most welcome surprises, has been how well we've been received by our elected officials within Butler County. Senator George Lang, State Rep Sarah Carruthers, State Rep Jennifer Gross, State Rep Thomas Hall. They've all been great in engaging with me. And it's funny because if we reach out, they pick up the phone and answer the phone. And, the questions they're asking me is, Ande, what can we do to better support you all? And how can we make sure that our platforms align? And so that's reassuring, especially being in higher education, where oftentimes, we're being challenged about things we do. That has not been the reception I've gotten. It's been very positive, and they've been very supportive. So that's exciting. And I hope to continue that as well.
That's great. For anyone on the call that has been to an event or a lecture or a performing arts series on the regionals, I think you'll agree with me that showing up to one of those events is always like a Hamilton or a Middletown reunion. Everybody knows everybody. Lots of hugging, lots of handshaking, and so as somebody that does external relations for the university, you realize the synergy that exists in those rooms, and and how much of what it is that you want to accomplish and that we want to accomplish as an institution can be achieved thanks to the synergy and the good work that's being done by the people that come to your events and come to your lectures and show up. And to your point, our local politicians are very much a part of that recipe as well. So if you haven't been, I would encourage you to do so, because you'll see old friends at all of those activities and all those events for sure. We've talked a lot about the booming situation that is occurring in Butler County, and again, both the cities of Middletown and the city of Hamilton, and obviously the city of Westchester. A lot of growth, a lot of infusion of new industry and new economic development. But how do the regionals contribute to the economic growth of Butler County?
Brad, I think the regionals have to be central to the economic growth of Butler County. And the reason I say is this: Butler County, as you go out and talk to our industry leaders, our chamber leaders, the number one concern as it relates to industry is talent. And how do we recruit and retain talent to this region? And so one of the challenges that we deal with, and working at Miami University, our graduates in Oxford don't generally all stay in the region. They don't generally all stay in Butler County. And one of the things that's unique about the region is over 80% of our graduates actually stay in the region. So when you think about creating a talent pipeline, when you think about creating career connections, when you think about recruiting and retaining folks, one of the things I've been talking to our industry partners is an investment in the regionals is an investment in the region. And so we've got to make sure that we continue to have the graduates who can meet the needs, because there's still a huge gap. And right now, the current talent pipeline is not substantial enough to meet the needs of industry. I mean, right now they're hiring people in every role. Our nurses, when they graduate, have multiple offers. Students in our engineering technology program can go and work at a host of different places. And so, when you think about talent development and workforce development, the regionals are a place that we've got to invest in, because those are going to be places working with our Butler techs who are doing the career and workforce place, working with our K-12 partners. Because, one of the things, and I use this analogy often when I talk to groups, this, probably better than me. When industry comes in, they're looking to say, can this particular community meet all of our workforce needs? Can we make sure that we can hire individuals who can be frontline workers, who maybe are in a skilled trade area? Can we hire our future managers and directors who may need, some additional education as well? And then can we hire our potential senior leaders? And so one of the things that we have to make sure within our region is, can we make sure that we have all those in our talent pipeline? And that's why the regionals are so important, because as you think about the students who are graduating from our, commerce program, our ICS program, our biological sciences program, psychological sciences, they're coming from so many different diverse backgrounds, but they're going to meet a huge need here within the region. And so that's what's really exciting from a workforce standpoint, is we're really, really involved. Another big area that we're focused on and we're trying to launch and we're getting more traction is in the micro-credential space. When I'm going out and talking to industry, one of the big needs and big concerns is we've got employees, and maybe XYZ employee doesn't need a degree, but we do need to figure out a way we can upskill that employee. What are some of the things that we can do from a training standpoint to support that employee? And so our folks over on our eCampus have done a really good job of developing micro-credentials just for that purpose. I was actually looking at some data last week, and I think we had awarded north of 500 micro-credentials at this point. And so that's a big area of demand. That's a big area that folks are thinking about. And so that'll be something we continue to grow as well. Other partners that we've been engaging with that I think see the great work we're doing, Ohio Means Jobs. They're really committed to building and keeping jobs in Ohio. And so when they think about what we're doing at the regionals, they align very well. And I think that, again, is another ingredient to having a strong workforce talent pipeline. So there's a lot of things that we're doing, I think, that directly align. And I think that going forward, we're going to continue to be a major driver in how we keep talent here and how we have potential talent for our industry to use.
That's great, Andy. Well, listen, thank you so very much for spending time with us today. Thank you to everyone who submitted questions. I've really enjoyed continuing to get to know you. I know your office has a lot of demands these days, so I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to share an update with us. And for those that are watching, thank you for joining our latest virtual town hall. Thanks again to those who submitted questions. I hope you enjoyed getting to know Dean Durojaiye. Please know that your support is deeply appreciated. and makes a real difference with our students. Until the next time, thank you for everything that you all do for Miami University. Love and honor.
Thank you.